Hearts Connected. Chapter 1. A Chance Encounter. Sarah loved her quiet life in the small town of Willow Creek. She worked as a librarian, surrounded by books, her favorite companions. Every morning she walked to the local coffee shop, the daily grind for her usual latte. One Tuesday, the bell above the door chimed and a new face entered. He was tall, with kind eyes and a friendly smile. He looked a little lost, clearly not from around here. Sarah, usually shy, felt a strange pull to help him. "Good morning," she said, her voice soft. "Can I help you with anything?" The man turned, a surprised but warm expression on his face. "Oh, good morning." "Yes, actually. I'm David. I just moved here for a new job, and I'm trying to find the best coffee in town." This place looked promising. Sarah smiled. "You've come to the right place. Their lattes are the best." "I'm Sarah." They talked for a few minutes about Willow Creek, about their jobs, and about coffee. David was a software engineer, and his company had opened a new office nearby. He seemed genuinely interested in what she had to say. As he left with his coffee, he turned back. "It was really nice meeting you, Sarah. Maybe I'll see you around." Sarah nodded, a little blush on her cheeks. "Maybe, David." She watched him go, a new feeling bubbling inside her. Willow Creek suddenly felt a little less quiet. Chapter 2. Unexpected Meetings. After their first meeting, Sarah found herself looking forward to her morning coffee even more. She didn't know if she would see David again, but the thought made her smile. A few days later, as she was shelving books in the library, the door opened and in walked David. He looked around, a little uncertain. "Sarah, is that you?" he asked, his voice friendly. "David, what a surprise!" Sarah replied, her heart doing a little flutter. "Are you looking for a book?" "Actually, yes," he said, walking closer. "My new apartment feels a bit empty, and I thought some books might help. I also wanted to see if you worked here. I remembered you said you were a librarian." They spent the next hour talking about books. David liked science fiction, and Sarah recommended some of her favorite fantasy novels. They discovered they both loved old movies and cooking. It was easy and natural, like they had known each other for a long time. David borrowed a few books and, as he was leaving, he hesitated. "Sarah, I was wondering, would you like to have dinner sometime? To thank you for the coffee recommendation and the book suggestions," he asked, a hopeful look in his eyes. Sarah's smile widened. "I'd love to, David." Chapter 3. First Date Nerves. Sarah spent the next few days feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. This was her first real date in a long time. She chose her favorite blue dress and tried to relax. David picked her up exactly on time. He looked handsome in a simple shirt and trousers. They went to the Old Mill, a cozy restaurant known for its delicious local food. The conversation flowed easily. They talked about their families, their dreams, and even some funny childhood stories. David told her about growing up in a big city and how different Willow Creek was. Sarah shared her love for the quiet life and the beauty of nature around them. They laughed a lot, and Sarah felt completely comfortable with him. As the evening ended, David walked her to her door. "I had a wonderful time, Sarah," he said, his voice warm. "Thank you for a lovely evening." "Me too, David. Thank you," she replied. He leaned in slightly, and for a moment, Sarah thought he might kiss her, but he just smiled. "Good night, Sarah." "Good night, David." She went inside, a happy sigh escaping her lips. This was more than just a chance encounter. It felt like the beginning of something special. Chapter 4. Growing Closer. Over the next few weeks, Sarah and David spent more and more time together. They went for walks by the river, explored the small shops in town, and cooked dinners at each other's apartments. Sarah introduced David to her favorite hiking trails, and he showed her how to play his favorite video game, which she found surprisingly fun. They learned about each other's little habits. David always made a second cup of coffee for Sarah in the mornings, and Sarah always left him little notes on his books. They talked about everything: their fears, their hopes, and their pasts. Sarah found herself opening up to David in a way she hadn't with anyone before. He listened carefully, always making her feel understood and valued. One rainy Saturday, they were sitting on Sarah's couch, reading. David looked up from his book. "Sarah," he said, his voice soft, "I really like spending time with you." "A lot." Sarah looked at him, her heart full. "Me too, David, more than a lot." He smiled, a genuine, happy smile. He reached out and gently took her hand. It felt right, warm and safe. In that moment, Sarah knew that her quiet life was changing, and she was happy about it. Chapter 5. A small misunderstanding. Life with David was wonderful, but even in the happiest relationships, small problems can appear. One evening, David was very quiet during dinner. Sarah noticed it immediately. "Is everything okay, David?" she asked, a little worried. He sighed. "Yeah, I guess. It's just work. There's a big project, and my boss wants me to work extra hours, maybe even on weekends. It's a lot of pressure." Sarah nodded. "I understand. That sounds tough." And, he continued, he also mentioned a possible promotion. But it might mean moving to another city for a few months. Just temporary, but still. Sarah felt a sudden coldness in her stomach. Moving? Even temporarily? She loved Willow Creek, and the thought of David being far away made her sad. She tried to hide her feelings, but her voice was a little shaky. "Oh, I see. That's a big opportunity." David looked at her, sensing her change in mood. "Are you okay with that?" Sarah hesitated. I don't know, David. Willow Creek is my home, and we just started this." David looked disappointed. "I thought you'd be happy for me. It's a good career step." The conversation ended there. a little bit of tension in the air. Sarah felt bad for not being more supportive, but also a little hurt that he hadn't considered her feelings more. It was their first small misunderstanding, and it left a bitter taste. Chapter 6. Clearing the air. The next day, Sarah felt terrible. She missed David's usual morning text. She knew they needed to talk. After work, she went to his apartment. He opened the door, looking a little surprised to see her. "Hey," he said, his voice quiet. "Hey," Sarah replied. "Can we talk?" He nodded and let her in. They sat on his couch, a silence between them. Sarah took a deep breath. "David, I'm sorry about last night," she began. "I was selfish. Of course, I'm happy for your opportunity. It's just, the thought of you leaving, even for a short time, made me sad. I really like having you here." David looked at her, his expression softening. "I understand, Sarah. I should have explained it better. It's not a definite thing, and even if it happens, it would only be for a few months, and I would visit every weekend, or you could visit me. I wouldn't want to be away from you for long." He reached out and took her hand. "And I was also a bit selfish. I was so focused on my career, I didn't think about how it would affect you. I'm sorry." Sarah squeezed his hand. "It's okay. We just need to talk about these things." They talked for a long time, clearing up all the misunderstandings. David reassured her that Willow Creek was becoming his home too, and that she was very important to him. Sarah felt a wave of relief. Their bond felt even stronger after they had faced this small challenge together. Chapter 7. A trip to the city. A few weeks later, David's company decided not to move him after all. The project could be managed remotely. Sarah was secretly relieved. To celebrate, David suggested a weekend trip to the city where he used to live. "It's a big city, very different from Willow Creek," he said. "I'd love to show you around my favorite places." Sarah was excited. She loved her quiet town, but a change of scenery sounded fun. They took a train early on a Saturday morning. The city was indeed very different. Tall buildings, busy streets, and people everywhere. David was a wonderful guide. He showed her his old apartment building, the park where he used to play as a child, and his favorite pizza place. They visited museums, walked through busy markets, and even saw a live music show. Sarah loved seeing David in his element, so comfortable and happy in the bustling city. She saw a different side of him, a more energetic and adventurous side. He held her hand as they walked through the crowds, making her feel safe and connected. On Sunday evening, as they were on the train back to Willow Creek, Sarah leaned her head on David's shoulder. "Thank you for a wonderful weekend, David," she whispered. "I had so much fun, and I learned a lot about you." He kissed the top of her head. "Me too, Sarah. I loved showing you my old life, but I love our new life in Willow Creek even more." Chapter 8. Meeting the families. As their relationship deepened, it was time to meet the families. Sarah was nervous about meeting David's parents, who lived a few hours away. David's family was warm and welcoming. His mother, Mary, was a kind woman who loved to cook, and his father, Robert, had a great sense of humor. They asked Sarah many questions, clearly happy that David had found someone special. Sarah felt comfortable and accepted. A few weeks later, David met Sarah's parents. Her mother, Susan, was a little shy at first, but quickly warmed up to David's easy charm. Her father, John, a quiet man, found common ground with David over their shared love for old cars. David helped Sarah's father with a small repair on his car, and Sarah's mother made David his favorite apple pie. Both meetings went wonderfully. It was clear that both families approved of their relationship. This made Sarah and David feel even more secure in their love. They were building a life together, not just as a couple, but as part of each other's families. It felt like a natural and beautiful progression. Chapter 9. A future together. Months turned into a year, and Sarah and David's love grew stronger with each passing day. They had built a comfortable routine, filled with shared laughter, quiet evenings, and exciting new adventures. They talked about their future, about moving into a bigger place together, maybe even getting a small dog. One sunny afternoon, they were walking by the river, a place they often visited. David stopped and turned to Sarah, a serious but loving look in his eyes. "Sarah," he began, his voice a little shaky, "you make me happier than I ever thought possible. You're kind, smart, and you make my life so much better. I can't imagine my life without you." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Sarah's heart started to pound. He got down on one knee. "Sarah, will you marry me?" he asked, opening the box to reveal a beautiful sparkling ring. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes. She didn't need to think for a second. "Yes, David. 1,000 times yes." He stood up, and she threw her arms around him, kissing him deeply. The ring was perfect, but David's words and the love in his eyes were even more so. The river flowed gently beside them, a silent witness to their beautiful moment. Chapter 10. Happily ever after. The wedding was a beautiful, intimate ceremony in a small garden behind the library, a place special to Sarah. All their family and closest friends were there. Sarah wore a simple white dress, and David looked incredibly handsome in his suit. They exchanged vows, promising to love and support each other through everything. Their life together continued to be a wonderful adventure. They moved into a charming little house with a big garden, and soon after, they adopted a playful golden retriever puppy named Buddy. Sarah continued to work at the library, and David continued his work as a software engineer, often working from home, which meant more time together. They still had their morning coffee at the daily grind, sometimes with Buddy waiting patiently outside. They still went for walks by the river, their hands intertwined. They still read books together on rainy days. And they still cooked delicious meals, often trying new recipes. Their love story wasn't about grand gestures or dramatic events. It was about the quiet moments, The shared laughter, the unwavering support, and the deep understanding they had for each other. Sarah, once a shy librarian, had found her perfect partner in David, the man who had walked into her coffee shop that ordinary Tuesday. And David, the city man, had found his true home and happiness in Willow Creek. With Sarah, they knew their journey would have its challenges, but they also knew they would face them together, always with love as their guide. And so, in their own quiet and beautiful way, Sarah and David lived happily ever after.